it's Cara Wild from WildBlissChannel.com, and I'm about to record Aurora's message for March, and I've really got no idea what's going to be spoken about today. Usually I have a sense of what they're going to talk about, and when I was out connecting with the trees and the surrounding beautiful surroundings that we have here this morning, I became very aware that something different was going to be happening today. I felt some kind of shift. So if you're used to seeing Aurora and hearing her energy in a particular way, then don't be surprised if it's a bit different today, maybe a bit slower, but we'll see. I really don't know. So I hope this message finds you well, and I hope it inspires you and offers you comfort if you need it, and ultimately reminds you of how beautiful and amazing you really are. So I'll go and blend with them now and see what wants to flow. Greetings from the unseen realms. It is a pleasure to connect with you, your beings of love. From one being of love to another being of love, we say hello. We offer our greetings and recognition of who you are. There is no hierarchy from where we are. We use language that you find acceptable, and so we sometimes use language such as high-level guides or ascended beings or high level, but ultimately there is never any hierarchy. We are simply more aware in our knowingness of who we truly are. And so our message to you this month of yours of March 2013 is one of a reminder. We do like to remind you of the truth of who you are, and so it is a reminder that you are beings of love. All else is false information. You are born into a reality, into the physicality of a reality, where there is much fear around. And as you are growing up, to begin with, you are fully aware that you are beings of love. You're fully aware of your connection, and then it's simply untaught and unremembered, and you begin to experience this frequency that you know as fear, and you begin to think it belongs to you, and so you begin to agree with it. And in the agreeing with it comes the defining of yourself. Anything that you agree with becomes a part of who you are. It is a welcoming and an embracing into your energetic sphere. So as we remind you that you're beings of love, remind you over and over again, trying to wake you up in your sleep and whisper to you the truth of who you are. Over a period of time you begin to agree and begin to reclaim that part of yourself. begin to acknowledge its existence within you, around you. And like a magnet, you attract more of it into your life, because you cannot agree with love, say yes to love, whilst holding on and agreeing with fear. The more that you say yes to love, the more apparent fear's falseness becomes. You may still hear its cries, but you believe it a little less, yes. Over the coming months, it's going to become easier for you to experience this love in your life. But first of all, you have to have your antennae set in the right direction, because there is still a climate of fear also, a climate of disempowerment. So we suggest to you that you begin to set your antennae, as it were, to the frequency and vibration of love, so that this can become more your experience. Alright, and so that is a message, yes, just get on with it. And we understand that you're still learning what it means to love and to be loved. Always bring the awareness in the beginning to self. Any changes that you're wanting to make in your outside world, always begin with self, where the reality exists. So when you begin to hear inside of yourself the voices of judgment and criticism, self-judgment and self-criticism, ask yourself, what is the message of love here? For it may be disguised as hate, certainly. It can be disguised as incredible, powerful hate of self. It can be disguised as doubt. It can be disguised as fear. It can be disguised as all manner of things that seem incredibly powerful, and how possibly could you see it differently? But within everything in existence of creation, be that your thoughts, even your emotions, your physical surroundings, there is always a pocket of love inside. How can there not be? Yes. Your reality is birthed from love, harmony and peace. How can it not be that in every single cell, every single atom, every single molecule in existence in your world has within it the idea of love? Because that was the initial spark that created it in the first place. And so when you hear the voices of judgment and fear, ask yourself, what is love trying to say to me? Maybe love is trying to say to me, I need to be on a different pathway. I deserve more joy in my life. I am entitled to experience the peace that I desire and the ease. When you look at yourself in the mirror and see nothing but criticism, what is love trying to say? Love is trying to say, accept the now. Accept the now with grace. See the beauty that is already there. See what is truly there. Accept the now. and in accepting the now, the true beauty can be revealed. When you meet a stranger on the street and you judge them for how they look, perhaps they are unkempt, perhaps they are dirty, perhaps they are looking for money, and judgment creeps in. Do not judge the judgment, yes, but hold the awareness and ask yourself, what is love trying to say to me here? What is love trying to say to me here? And love may be trying to say, give yourself a break of how you need to appear to others. Give yourself your own approval rather than looking to others for it. And so the stranger becomes a messenger of love, an angel in dark clothing. Always love is trying to speak to you. Always love is trying to find you. The way that you receive it is by keeping an eye open for it. Setting your antennae, setting your internal compass, seeking the love, seeking the love. You speak of love in many, many different forms, and all are valid. And so you speak of love in terms of abundance and beauty. You speak of so many areas of your life that you wish were different at times, yes. And it can feel overwhelming to think that you have to change every little aspect of your life. Your finances need to be improved, yes, or your friendships, or where is that soulmate, or am I being a good enough parent? Am I being a good enough wife? Am I being a good enough partner? Do my animals love me? Am I taking care of nature enough? So there is a focus, instead of lacking at every single area that you're wanting to improve or make changes, you're wanting to up the frequency a little. Instead of thinking that you have to send different ideas and different parts of yourself to all these different aspects of your life, that can stop you before you begin, because there's just not enough time to do it all. But the power is always within you now, inside of you. That is what creates your external reality, the inner world. So the easiest one to begin with when you're wanting to affect change is yourself. And it is easier to focus on one thing at a time than many different areas and many different aspects of yourself. The ultimate one thing to focus on is love. So if you are a person who enjoys meditation, focus on love. If you are a person who enjoys dancing around in the world, do it with love. Because when you come from this singular way of viewing the world, it impacts all the areas of your life in one fell swoop. You don't need to scatter yourself into different aspects. Always come back to your core being. You are pure, innocent. You have no sin. Sin is a false concept in how you understand it in your global sense. You are good enough. You are enough. You are where you are right now because that is where you need to be. Otherwise you would be somewhere else. You are making the choices that you need to make right now because you cannot make any others. When you accept that, accept where you are now, begin to see through the eyes of love. Your world becomes a kaleidoscope of opportunities, abundance, beauty, harmony. You begin to see what wasn't there well, actually you begin to create what wasn't there, but that's a whole other message. You begin to see with new eyes. You have within you an essence. We call it your authentic essence. So you're going to have your own particular flavour of love and how to express that. And that is for you to discover by exploring what feels most delicious to you, what is most comforting, what clothes feel most comforting, what friendships feel so good, what way of expressing yourself feels expansive through creativity, maybe art, writing, dancing in your living room. Deep, nourishing conversations with friends is another form of creativity. You're creating new worlds if you have those deep levels of conversations with friends. So you all have this authentic and unique way of expressing that one core element of love that always resides within you. And you can call on it any time, because it may diminish in your awareness of it, but it never goes anywhere. It is always available to you. And you can ask the unseen realms to help you, to amplify it so that you can feel it more readily. We see you struggling so much, thinking that you have to do everything alone. And we are here to help you, to support you. We won't do everything for you, but we can answer your calls of help, amplifying particular information for you, such as your frequency of love. You think you have to do it all alone because you're agreeing with this idea of separateness. I have to take responsibility for my life, I have to do it all myself. Well, certainly you have to make the decisions and the choices of how you're going to respond and what you're going to give. But you do not have to exist alone. You do not exist alone. It is your awareness and your idea of separateness that helps you to feel alone. And you're never alone. We are available. But you have to ask. We can intervene. We can nudge, yes, send in certain things your way, box. But we have to have a frequency to hang on to. We have to have a way of giving you that information. A channel has to be set up. And in the asking is a recognition of the need. And that creates a vacuum that we can fill. So the questions that we would leave you with as you're going about your day, and you make it your priority in the morning not to connect with the voices of guilt, of the waking up out of the dream state and hitting your reality as a foregone conclusion. This is happening today, that's happening today, I have to do this today, I have to do that today. Before any of that begins, we would suggest that you sit and connect to this love. Remember your eternal self, who you truly are. And if you're just beginning with this, it will feel very strange, as though you're making it up, it's not real. But as you begin to make your first commitment to yourself, the truth of who you are, as you open your eyes, call love to yourself, that inner being of love, ask it to radiate out through your day and to talk gently to you, give you whispers that take you in the directions of your dreams. And declare to yourself in the morning that today you're going to see through the eyes of love. And the eyes of love always let us tell you a secret. The eyes of love always accept mistakes. They see it as part of the learning, yes? So we're not going for perfection here. That would not be love. We're going for gentleness and love. So connect in that way. And as the post comes through the door, instead of worrying about what bills are going to come, ask yourself, what love is being delivered to me right now? Strange question, huh? What love? Demands for money, that's what love. Well, try it. Imagine that love is being delivered through your door. And see if you can alter your perceptions to find the love within. What are the gifts? There are always gifts. It is somewhat tricky for us to see our audience and be able to give examples for every single example that may come your way. And so what we encourage you to do as you're beginning your journey with this new idea of seeing with the eyes of love, if you have specific examples that you're experiencing difficulty with, you can ask. There's that. You can pop your question into the box below, and then we can answer you more personally. And every time that you feel moved to ask a question, you're asking the question on behalf of many, many people. And so each answer will be for you and for others. You are giving a great service by asking. But the general questions are, what is love trying to tell me right now? Where am I seeing love? Where does love live in this situation? Where does love live in my day? How can I open myself to seeing the love that already exists? And imagine yourself like a child going on a journey, looking for worms under stones, yes? Looking for treasure on the beach, looking for magic in the sky. That is your search for love. Where is it? I know it may be hiding because it does not think I want it. So maybe I have to search for it a little. You will not. You'll find it quite easy. And you can have fun on the way there, yes? Like a child. Where is it today? Where is it today? Where is it today? And then also, how can I generate it today? How can I experience that feeling of more love? What can I give to myself? Perhaps I will put on some beautiful feeling clothes. Perhaps I'll allow myself to really enjoy tucked up under my duvet. Maybe I'll slow down enough to feel what my cat feels like and to appreciate the fur. Maybe I'll laugh more today. Maybe when I see that person on the street that I normally judge, I'll not buy into their idea of the world. I'll not respond to those frequencies they are radiating out to me. That calls for judgment. Instead, I'll just simply send them a wave of love. Maybe I need to pretend a little first. Yes, I'm all right. I'll send love. Go, love. That is the beginningness, yes. It is the willingness that creates the crack for love to flow in. Just the willingness is enough. So, if you see the stranger, send it a wave of love. Send them a wave of love. They don't need to know. You don't need to say, hey, stranger over there, I normally judge you, but today you know I'm going to send you love. they might not like that, you see, they may not appreciate that. Silently send them a wave of love. You can imagine it radiating out from you, rippling out from your core center. Maybe you could generate that feeling of love by sitting quietly for 5 minutes and connecting to that feeling inside of you, and imagine circles of energy rippling out from this core into your reality, changing everything magically, quantumly, as this love ripples out into your reality. And imagine your children at school, or your pets at home while you work, or your lover in a different part of the country, or your work friends. Just different types of love there, yes. But just remember to feel that radiating out from you and see them being hit by this wave of beautiful feelings, and suddenly they feel so good and inspired and more in love with life, and they do not know why. But you do. You are that powerful. You can radiate wonderful things. Your children at school will feel that, yes? Always begin with the self and ask the questions. Where is the love today? And how can I generate and give this gift of feeling love to myself? Because when you give, you get to experience double one. It is just so good, to feel this love. Give yourself that gift. It is how you used to communicate in your different cycles, particularly in areas such as Egypt, Mongolia, Peru, some aspects of Australia and the Pacific, your Hawaii. There was a core set of beings whose job it was to radiate out, broadcast these frequencies of love and peace. They were much better than your telecommunication system that you have in place right now. Much more efficient, for they worked with communication in an unseen manner, in the realms of telepathy. And there were particular stations that you see in your archetypes, that you see in your ancient buildings that were used for transmission of particular information, of particular frequencies. They impacted your climate, your weather, and they also set the tone. They radiated out these beings of love, radiated out such tranquility, such peace and harmony, that they set the tone for reality. They set the tone for reality. Theirs was the dominant frequency. Much as your experience up to now has been fear being the dominant frequency. In the times of the origins, it was the dominant frequency was peace and harmony. That was the original idea for the inception of your earth. Is it possible to live as separate beings in peace and harmony? That was the question that first gave birth to your existence in physical reality. And so these beings were kind of outposts, working with architecture to generate posts, stations, where these frequencies were broadcast, which made it easier for individuals to pick up on those frequencies and to live at that vibration. All this was known. There was no idea of competition. There was no idea of hierarchy. There was no idea that one day maybe I'll be one of these beings that can transmit these frequencies. There was a recognition that everybody was capable of doing that. It's just that everybody had a unique place in the puzzle to play, and they were happy with their chosen ideas of themselves, happy to play that out and to see what the experience was like. Everything was made with an awareness, every choice was made with awareness. Every being that incarnated remembered some aspects of their plan before birth. Everybody knew that this information was readily available if they ever needed to find out more. If they ever felt as though they were getting off track, they could simply check in with their pre-birth plan, as it were, to see what they had decided and to see whether they still agreed with it or whether they wanted to make changes. Everybody experienced free will of greater magnitude than you are doing right now, what you are moving back towards, you are remembering. So information from concurrent lifetimes was also readily available. There was an elegance and a dance with different realities, always grounded in the reality that their conscious awareness was in for that moment, but also with the idea that they could have a look at a concurrent lifetime and use information from their experiences in that lifetime to inform their current lifetime. So there was not this idea of past and future lifetimes, that there was an idea of concurrent, and there was an understanding of the connection to this intelligence that was available to them. So sometimes your ideas of past cycles involve the idea of slavery, and we suggest that this is in part because you see yourselves in such a diminished way compared to what you are truly capable of, and so you can't imagine that you ever played such a role, and so it must have been a powerful entity from another place who had dominance over you. We suggest that those ideas are more a reflection of your cultural standards right now. Power and dominance go together, yes. Not in this case, not where the primary focus is on harmony, cooperation, beauty, unique expression within the God of the whole. And that is what you're moving back towards, and that is what part of the shift was about. That is what you're moving back towards. You're evolving backwards, yes. Not quite that way. Not quite. But you're remembering. Remember first that the only truth in existence is that you are beings of love. That is the first truth. All else springs from there. Eternal beings of love. we would invite and encourage your questions. We can attend more specifically to individual questions and ideas of how to make this more real and practical in your life. We are broadcasting to many beings right now, yes, but we do want to speak to you. So leave questions and the channel will allow us to speak to you. Where is the love? How can you generate more love as a gift for yourself? It has been a pleasure to connect with you. We are grateful for the channel giving us this opportunity. And in love and peace, we are here always here. And for now, we bid you farewell. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did channeling it, and I'm pretty sure this was covered, but if you have any questions, then please feel free to pop over to our webpage. If you've seen this on YouTube, go to wildblisschannel.com and there's a free Q&A service on there. We always love to hear your questions, it helps us grow too. Well, Aurora would say not to grow, but to expand, as we're not lesser beings. So I can still hear it. So please do pop along and put your questions on wildblisschannel.com and have a beautiful day, a love-filled day, and I'll connect with you again soon. Bye.